afternoon. Well, I took a little sneaky visit here to my friends here at this Floral Way. It is Thursday and we are heading to Longboat Key tomorrow morning. I think my car leaves at 6:30 in the morning and I just popped in on them and I think they're loading their trucks at the same time. So as I mentioned, we have Liz and Pat's wedding this upcoming weekend over there. And sadly, it's looking like rain. So I've come here to discuss sort of our rain plan with them. You know, your girl already has contingency plans in place. So I thought I would just go over and iron out those details with them so that we don't have to cover it once we're there on property. We know what we have to do once we get there. And I thought I'd take some fun pictures of the flowers that are already being assembled for Liz and Pat's welcome party, just to, not that she's sad, she's such a happy-go-lucky kind of girl, but just to get them even further excited regardless of where the event takes place. So let's take a peek inside. So the guys just finished a FAM this weekend, so and we're in season, so I can faithfully say that everything you see in here, however, is for our event this weekend. So we have some of their freelance designers here. These are the flowers for the welcome party?
Yeah, they are.
Yay! So Liz wanted a sunset colors is what she told me for her welcome party, and look how glorious these are. So pretty. Nice. And is all this white for Saturday? And then we're going classic white on Saturday. You know I love doing this to you. Hi. Are you ready for plan B for Friday and Saturday? It's going to be just as beautiful?
Yes, I am. Okay. We will make it work.
We'll always make it work.
Always.
Can I get a sneak peek of the cooler? Is this all for this weekend?
All for this weekend.
Okay,
You ready?
Oh my gosh. It's like I have died and gone to heaven. Oh my goodness. I cannot believe this. This is what Orlando at 6:30 in the morning, or at least I told someone 6:30, got to my house at 6:45, also that we could leave at 7, which was my grand master plan. I just feel like I just admitted it to it. Now you're on to me, but we have to be better.
Yes.
Anyway, we are already here at the St. Regis. We got here in record time, and the Floral Way just arrived. Hang on, here we go. Zoom, zoom, zoom. So they are taking full advantage of using this ballroom as their personal cooler. Take a look over here. This is everything we saw in the cooler yesterday, right? And then some. Salutations. Hi.
Hi.
It is not quite 7:30 a.m. and the first of my production team have arrived. The fact that we took up 2 of these large trucks just in event rentals should give you just a slight hint as to what we're going to expect for the day. Our ceremony is here on this big, beautiful lawn. And if you are wondering why these lights are here, the hotel and all of Longboat Key does that for turtle season to keep them safe and in habitat. So I have to meet this team down in the ballroom already. They're a little bit early. I just got out of the shower. So I'm gonna go run and do that and help them, help direct them as to where everything goes. We are here in the ballroom at the St. Regis in Longboat Key, and I was in the ballroom I think starting at 6:45, and I certainly did not look like this. It is still morning, and we are underway. I don't know if you could see everything behind us. We have quite the team. We have visited with Liz this morning. She's doing great, isn't she?
She's fantastic.
We have the best clients. And so we are excited to just show you what this looks like right now, because if you thought the bar mitzvah was something last week, you're going to want to stick around tomorrow to check out the stories, because this is the last you're going to see from us. We want to make this a surprise for Liz and Pat and their families, but yeah, she's going to be good.
Oh my God, you look absolutely stunning.
Well, I had what I would call a very well-deserved crash out on the couch yesterday. I wanted to do so many things in my mind, and then my body was like, yeah, you're not built for that today. I mean, as something as easy as taking off my nail polish yesterday, I literally didn't have the energy to do it. We have been on such a beautiful, beautiful whirlwind with all of these weddings. And now that you've seen sort of the splendor that was Liz and Pat's wedding, I thought I would speak to you about how it is I extract or define a couple's wedding style. A lot of times, my couples will come to me and they'll know a general sense for maybe a color palette, classic black and white, things like that. But then how do I make that signature to them and signature to that wedding? If you look at my breadth of work, I hope that you will find, and I feel very proud that you will find sort of this underlying current. The foundation for all of my weddings truly is classic. It's a classic foundation. While I am totally on board for a lot of progressive ideas, particularly in the wedding world, we have to adapt and sort of adjust our sails as these things evolve. My foundation is always classic. There are certain things I'm slowly leaning into, I'm not going to talk about digital invitations and digital RSVPs because I am not quite there yet. But I will take Liz and Pat's wedding, for instance, because this is the one you've just seen. And then if I show you what next week's wedding is, which is the wedding of Emma and Conrad, what you will see in difference there is the color palette. Completely different in color palette and overall style to Liz and Pat. But you will find next week, so tune in, you will find that the underlying theme is classic. So when I first meet my clients, it used to be in person. COVID changed things. Things are virtual now. Plus, I would say about 90 to 95% of my clients don't even live in the state of Florida. So we have learned to work virtually and we meet via Zoom. So when I have that initial meeting, I have my trusty old worksheet that I've been working off of for 20 plus years. And after I get the nuts and bolts of everything, where the wedding is, what the date is, I mean, if they know where the wedding is. If not, I certainly help them identify what that venue will look like. I ask other questions. So I usually give them prompts, like what is their overall vision? And the prompts I'll give them are, is it elegant? Is it over the top? Is it black tie, formal? Is it casual? Traditional? And then I ask, what would you say? And then they sort of feed off of that and give me their ideas of what their vision is. And I always say, like attracts like. So I always manage to find the clients that say they want classic, elegant, and then they fill in the blanks from there. After that, I try to gauge their guest count number. What is their anticipated guest list? I certainly don't want to direct them to a venue that can't quite accommodate their guest list, or if their guest list is small, is it too big? How can we work around that? A lot of times when they have the venue already, I'll work with them as to what the best space in that venue is, just like we talked about with my tour of the JW Marriott last week. I know the spaces there and which ones to recommend. Next, I ask if there is a specific color palette that they're looking for. Pretty much, it's usually a neutral undertone, and then we build on color from there, if at all. Now, this is where sort of the expertise lies in. You'll find a lot of black and white classic weddings with gold, with silver, with that. Then, how do you make it signature? So from there, I ask questions like, how long has the couple known each other? How long were they engaged? Was the engagement a surprise? And did the groom and or bride, same sex, did they ask their parents for permission? That tells me that there's like a traditional essence to everything, and I sort of know which direction to take from there. Next, I ask if they live together. And if they do, what does that look like? A lot of times they're just out of college or coming out of college or starting their home. And I understand it's not quite where you want it yet. Believe me and trust me, my house is not quite where I want it yet. Whatever style they have, is it traditional? Is it coastal? Is it modern? Is it contemporary? Whatever their style is, I try to then match it to see if it's consistent with the conversation they gave me earlier when I asked about their color palette for their wedding and what they wanted their wedding to look like, what their vision was. And then finally, this is a question that I have loved to really ask in the past, and it's really served me well. And that is, what is your favorite trip that you've been on together as a couple? And then I always follow that up by saying, I'm not asking about the most extravagant trip or the most expensive trip. What I'm looking for is the trip that meant the most to you and why. A lot of times it isn't the most expensive trip. A lot of times it's the most spontaneous trips that they've taken with one another. And this lets me identify their playful side. And in that is what I call storytelling in the design. So now I have the foundation. I know it's pretty much classic and elegant. And then I have their color palette. I have their guest count number. At this point, this is helping me to identify their venue, whether the ceremony will be outdoors or indoors, resort or otherwise. And then we move into the overall storytelling of what the wedding will look like. Here is where I infuse their personalities. So this is such a fun ride that I take on with all of my clients. And at the end, it's like I always tell them, I want their guests to leave saying, gosh, that was so Liz and Pat. And speaking of Liz and Pat, the example here is they grew up in New York. They actually live in the Hamptons now. Liz's father is a retired banker from the city and all that, and he also has a condo in Longboat Key next to the St. Regis. It's actually the St. Regis residences. So I know that I wanted to infuse quite a bit of New York in there. And then when I started looking at Elizabeth's pictures, I saw a black and white dance floor. Certainly I've done black and white dance floors before, but I wanted to make this old New York, old banking New York. It was telling the story of George, her father. So I looked at old pictures of the Waldorf Astoria from back in the 50s, and I tried to tell the story that way, but put that modern touch and Liz and Pat's style and sensibility in there. I hope that I know that it did because they told me, but I hope that you saw it too, now that you've seen some behind the scenes images and that beautiful teaser that Orlando Cano from Storybook Films graciously offered to me to share with you. So I cannot wait to share next week's wedding with you also, Emma and Conrad, and the great news is the backyard project has resumed. So I cannot wait to share that progress with you as well. This past weekend being Emma and Conrad is my last from that marathon that we've been going on. And so now I get a few weeks off before my next wedding, which is back at the St. Regis in Longboat Key for Gabriella and Ash. So I fully intend on embracing all of my little house mouse activities, my gardening, my backyard, and all the rest. And of course, I look forward to sharing it with you. So if you like this video, please give it a thumbs up. Also subscribe. I would love to see you here weekly every Wednesday for a new video. I look forward to seeing you next week. Bye-bye.